Hello, my name is Siverling, and I am a Hospice Bereavement Coordinator for Mayo Clinic Hospice. Today, my topic is holidays during a pandemic. This past year, our holidays tend to look very different from how they have looked in past years. Many of us look towards the holidays and tend to think about them in terms of what we are missing or losing about the holidays this year. But how can we creatively change our thinking and our actions in a way that we add to our holidays or we gain something this holiday season in spite of and in midst of the pandemic? Or to put it another way, how can we not merely survive the holidays during a pandemic, but how can we thrive through the holidays during a pandemic? I'd like to share a brief story of someone I know who did exactly this. This was many years ago, and my cousin who was married, she and her husband had a house, but they were building a new house. As luck would have it, the old house sold, and they had to be out before the new house was done. So they moved into a little apartment in the time being and put most of their belongings into storage. Except then that Christmas came around, and they realized that all of their beautiful Christmas ornaments were tucked away in the back of a storage unit in boxes somewhere. Rather than let that get them down about the holidays, they went out and bought a small, real Christmas tree and then made paper chains and strung popcorn and cranberries in order to decorate for Christmas. It became one of the family stories that was passed down as of a way that they survived those holidays and actually thrived during those strange holidays. The first step in thriving in holidays during a pandemic is to figure out what is the most important part of the holiday for you. I reflected this for a bit for myself and came up with a few possible answers. In broad strokes, some of the things that I think are the most important elements in our holiday celebrations are gathering with the people we love, traditions that we have developed for our holidays, the special foods we eat only on holidays, the gifts and the gift-giving process of our holidays, and in some cases, the spirituality of the holidays. This can be from any faith tradition, or perhaps just the very spirituality of giving or sharing during the holidays. For the purpose of this presentation, I've broken down this list into its individual parts and will make just a few suggestions on how to have a positive, thriving holiday during a pandemic. Hopefully, this will get your own creative juices flowing about what would work best for your family and friends and you during this unusual holiday season. The first of these is creative gathering. For the purpose of this presentation, I've divided that concept into two parts. The first is electronic gathering, something many of us have become quite proficient with in recent months. It might be possible for your family and friends to gather together on a group FaceTime or a Zoom call. With Zoom, it is even possible to record the conversation so that it could be shared with others later. Another option would be to make a YouTube video that could be shared with all family and friends. You can be as creative as you like with these videos or keep these videos as simple as possible. The second part of creative gathering is non-electronic. In recent years, there has been a book and a project called Flat Stanley. One way of being with each other from a distance would be to create flat people for family members, like a flat grandma or a flat cousin, and then send those to other family members. In the spirit of the original Flat Stanley, the flat person could participate in Christmas activities, and pictures could be taken and shared via the mail or online. Next, one of the important things about our holidays is honoring those who are not with us. Rather than focus on the lack of the people who are celebrating with us, one could instead embrace their presence by sharing stories. I have a friend whose mother died several years ago. Her mother was known for telling absolutely terrible jokes. As a way of keeping her with them at celebrations, each family member could tell their favorite joke that she used to tell. Another way to honor those not with us at the table on the holiday is to share stories about them. This could be done for those who have died and cannot be with us at all, or this could be done in person or electronically. But this could also be done for those who simply can't gather with us at this time because of the pandemic. Another way to honor an absent person is to have a special place setting at the table for the absent person, placing some of their things at their place on the table. Next is creative food. One idea, of course, and it's an old idea, is to send things like homemade cookies and candies and treats to each other, whether through the mail or now with contactless drop-offs. But another creative idea would be to do a Nailed It competition with a family recipe. The Netflix show Nailed It features 3 contestants each week that attempt to replicate a complicated and decorated cake. None of the contestants are professional bakers, so their efforts often produce some pretty bad and pretty hilarious cakes. The same could be done with a favorite family recipe. People could share their successes online during electronic conversation, or one could take pictures and email or mail them to each other of their Nailed It family recipe. And then we have creative gifts and gift giving. In 2005, a movie came out called The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. In this movie, 4 young women shared a pair of jeans over the course of a year and then shared their stories about what happened to them when it was their turn to wear the pants. Perhaps this year families could put a different twist on their gift giving. Rather than sending or receiving or giving a lot of gifts, perhaps the family could come up with one gift that could in turn be shared with all the family members on a rotating basis throughout the coming year. The next year, when families hopefully will gather like normal for the holidays, family members could share their stories of when they got to have the gift and what happened to them when they had the gift, and of their experiences of going through from a pandemic world to a post-pandemic world. Finally, we have the spirituality of the holidays. For some people, the holidays are primarily secular, and for other people, the holidays hold spiritual significance. Many houses of worship are not open for public gatherings at this time. If the holidays hold a spiritual significance for you, perhaps find a way to worship online with your place of worship or with a different one. It can be a way to worship someplace you've always wanted to worship, but have never been able to travel there. Another way to celebrate the spirituality of the season is to create your own way of worshiping as a family at home. Many houses of worship can help create these at-home ways to worship. One can also create your own worship space at home. Both places of worship and the internet have many ideas available for people to try these things. These are just a few ideas of ways you can thrive during the holidays in a pandemic. Thank you.